Hello, thanks for visiting my channel, Happiness in Life Today Edification. Happiness in life is a state of joy, contentment, and well being, involving positive emotions, purpose, strong relationships, self acceptance, and resilience, achieved through mindful daily actions like gratitude, kindness, exercise, meaningful goals, and savoring experiences, rather than a constant state of euphoria. It's about finding balance and meaning in life's ups and downs, with over half of our happiness coming from controllable choices and attitudes. Finding happiness with God involves building a life centered on a relationship with God that created us, shifting focus from external circumstances to internal contentment, gratitude, and obedience. True joy stems from studying scripture, praying, and trusting God's promises rather than seeking worldly validation. Key practices include daily service, loving others, and aligning in God's will. We are trusting God that created us for the longevity of good health, wealth, abundance, prosperity, peace, love, self love, happiness, and joy. My intentions for this channel are to exhort using soft encouragement to motivate us all to continue moving forward with God in our life. Psalms 82, verse 6 says, "Ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High." Okay? All right. Teaching to create our lives full of happiness by applying blessings of God that created us, discipline, and positive affirmations to everyday life situations. In the Bible, Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares God that created us, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." We are choosing to be happy. We are not giving up building our beautiful lives. So cheer up. Things will all work out as long as we keep a positive um, attitude to uplift ourselves. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. I am here to motivate us all to enhance our lives to a happier state of life through life lessons that comes out randomly through topic on the day using my own discretion. We are choosing to build our lives full of happiness with God that created us. With that, hopefully this topic will relate with you. I'd appreciate it if you would get involved in the comments with your experience, if you have any, with the topic of the day. Nice to know there are others in the world committed to being a better version of themselves and are motivated to keep moving forward. Happiness is the key. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share this life lesson if it motivates you or to motivate another. Thank you. Please donate to the channel, sow into me as I sow into you. So let's get into the life lesson of the day. All right. Life lessons of the day is make mistakes. Okay? You are human. You will make mistakes. Hopefully, you'll make a whole lot of them because that means you are trying. And trying means you are fully alive. It also makes life a heck of a lot more interesting. This statement celebrates vulnerability, growth, and the human experience. It suggests that aiming for perfection leads to stagnation, while making mistakes is undeniable proof that you are actively engaging with life, taking risks, and evolving. So here is the deeper meaning of each component. You are human. You will make mistakes. This embraces imperfection. Since you cannot be flawless, striving for it creates unnecessary stress. Acknowledging this sets realistic, freeing expectations. Hopefully, you'll make a whole lot of them because that means you are trying. This reframes errors as a byproduct of action. People who never make mistakes usually never try anything new or step outside their comfort zones. Trying means you are fully alive. This touches on the psychology of growth and resilience. Living fully means experiencing the full range of emotions, pursuing goals, and learning from the resulting missteps rather than staying safely on the sidelines. It also makes life a heck of a lot more interesting. A life characterized by safe predictability can become mundane. Errors and the adjustments required to overcome them give your personal story depth, human, and unpredictability. So, the blessing of the day is coming from the Bible, the book of Psalms. Psalm chapter 29, verse 11. The Lord gives strength to his people, and the Lord blesses his people with peace. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Psalm 29, chapter 29, verse 11. The Lord gives strength to his people. The Lord blesses his people with peace. Okay. All right. Defining this blessing. The verse is a powerful reminder that God provides both the resilience to endure hardships and the inner tranquility to remain steady through life's challenges. Strength imparts divine fortitude and perseverance. It means that when you feel weak, weary, or overwhelmed, God supplies the energy and endurance to keep moving forward. Peace derives from the Hebrew word shalom. It is not just the absence of trouble, but a deep, comforting sense of wholeness and well being. It acts as a calm during life's storms. So, together, this verse from Psalm 29, verse 11, promises that God does not leave you to struggle alone. God equips you for the journey and settles your heart. So, adding the title and the blessing together, make mistakes. You are human. God gives strength and blesses God's people with peace. Okay? All right. The Lord gives strength to his people. The Lord blesses his people with peace. Psalms 29:11 is a profound promise. It means God provides supernatural resilience to endure life's hardships and the gift of inner tranquility, a sense of wholeness and safety, even in the midst of chaos. All right, let's go over the first part here. God provides supernatural resilience to endure life's hardships and the gift of inner tranquility. This statement describes the belief that faith in God provides a power beyond human limits, supernatural resilience to survive suffering, alongside an unshakable divine calm, inner tranquility in the face of chaos. It means that while hardship is inevitable, trusting God replaces fear with lasting hope and stability. The concept is anchored in several key spiritual principles. Supernatural resilience. This is the belief that God renews human strength when natural endurance fails. Instead of relying on their own willpower, believers draw on a spiritual power to avoid being crushed by hardship. It is often described as the ability to soar on wings like eagles and endure trials with purpose. The gift of inner tranquility, this refers to the profound sense of peace that transcends human understanding. It does not mean the absence of problems. Instead, it is a state of inward calm and steadfastness that remains anchored regardless of external circumstances. A sense of wholeness and safety despite the chaos of a broken world. This means having a fundamental security in God. Okay, it is the assurance that one is protected, loved, and held, providing a quiet refuge regardless of the turbulence happening around you. Reconciliation and rest. Believers understand this peace, often referred to as shalom, as a gift of reconciliation with God that created us. It reassures them that they are safe, loved, and held, which removes the paralysis of anxiety and panic. Application through faith. This peace and strength are often cultivated through spiritual practices like prayer, relinquishing control to a higher power, God that created us, and meditating on sacred texts. A sense of wholeness and safety, even in the midst of chaos. Let's go over that, okay? A sense of wholeness and safety, even in the midst of chaos, means maintaining inner resilience and emotional regulation despite external turmoil. It is not the absence of trouble, but rather the quiet confidence that you can bend without breaking, remaining anchored in your identity and self worth. So, breaking down the concept, sense of safety, a trauma informed state of being where your autonomic nervous system and psychological boundaries function optimally. It is the deep cellular assurance that you are okay in the present moment, even if the world around you is unpredictable. Wholeness. This psychological and spiritual integration of all your human experiences, mind, body, and emotions. Instead of fragmenting or shutting down during a crisis, you compassionately embrace all parts of yourself and adapt without losing your sense of identity. How it is experienced and cultivated. Mindfulness and acceptance. Recognizing that distress is a part of being human and learning to observe chaotic thoughts without getting swept away by them. Self compassion, utilizing your breath as an anchor and treating yourself with warmth and care to deliberately signal safety to a stressed nervous system. The whole person framework, recognizing that true security is integrated, relying on your internal value system, safe relationships, and meaning making, rather than just attempting to control the external environment. The whole person framework describes a shift from viewing safety as defending against external threats to building an internal foundation. It argues that true security is integrated, relying on your core values, your supportive relationships, and your ability to find purpose rather than desperately trying to control the world around you. Breaking down the pillars. Internal value system. Instead of relying on external approval, you anchor your security in personal, moral compass, and self worth. It emphasizes living authentically and developing an internal capacity for self soothing and self compassion. An internal value system means you anchor your self worth in your own core principles rather than relying on external validation. When faced with difficulties, instead of seeking approval or getting defensive, you look inward to regulate your emotions and treat yourself with kindness. Building this internal foundation involves three core shifts. Your own moral compass. You make life choices based on what you believe is right, honest, and authentic, rather than conforming to societal pressures or chasing praise. Intrinsic self worth. You recognize that your value as a person is absolute. You are enough simply because you exist, meaning your self esteem doesn't fluctuate based on your achievements or the opinions of others. Self compassion and self soothing. Instead of harshly judging yourself when you make a mistake, you offer yourself the same patience, understanding, and care you would give to a good friend. This internal approach leads to greater emotional stability and resilience because your worth isn't tied to unpredictable outside factors. You are better equipped to handle failure, stress, and criticism. Safe relationships. This centers on the psychological safety found in meaningful connections, such as strong interpersonal attachment and community support. It recognizes that you are an interdependent being and your safety is deeply enhanced by feeling seen and understood by trusted others. An interdependent being refers to a person or living entity who exists in a state of mutual reliance with others. It describes a balance where individuals maintain their personal identity and autonomy, but choose to share support, emotions, and responsibilities with those around them. Okay, key characteristics mutual autonomy. Individuals remain whole, independent selves rather than losing their identity in the relationship. Shared support. Both parties give and receive help, creating a balanced dynamic. Trust and communication. Needs are met through healthy boundary setting, effective communication, and emotional trust. The relationship spectrum, and we have to know the difference, okay? To fully grasp the concept, it helps to see how an interdependent being balances the spectrum of human connection. Independence relies entirely on oneself, often avoiding asking for help or emotional closeness. Codependency, okay? So we got to know the difference between the three here. Codependency relies excessively on others for survival, self worth, or happiness, often sacrificing one's own needs in the process. And interdependence, the healthy middle ground where a being is self sufficient but values mutual connection and teamwork. Okay, so we got to make sure we look around at the people that we have in our life, and we have to put them in a position. Whether are they an independent person, are they codependent, okay, and are they interdependent, okay, and we have to make sure also with codependency, they're codependent, and they're excessively relying on you and others. But then you got to be careful because codependent people will try to make you change. Okay. They want you to change your independence, give you all of their power. They want you to give all your power to them, is what I'm trying to say. So you have to be careful about codependent people because they want to put the full responsibility of their life on you. Okay. All right. We're going to go into meaning making. True security involves finding purpose by reframing life's challenges through a narrative of growth and contribution. You become less vulnerable to sudden external disruptions. Meaning making is the psychological process of actively interpreting and integrating life events into a coherent life narrative by reframing adversity as a catalyst for growth rather than just senseless pain. Individuals develop deep psychological resilience and insulate themselves from sudden external disruptions. The concept of meaning making as a foundation for genuine security is deeply rooted in clinical psychology and existential theory. The core of meaning in psychology, meaning making is how individuals understand and construe life events and the self. It is the process of resolving the conflict between a person's fundamental beliefs about the world and the harsh realities of traumatic or unexpected events. Discovering personal purpose is a primary drive. Suffering is inevitable, but by choosing one's attitude and finding significance in how to face it, individuals create an unshakable inner anchor. Human beings can discover meaning and create that unshakable inner anchor through three primary avenues: creative values, by creating a work, accomplishing a deed, or engaging in a creative pursuit; experiential values, by experiencing the world, whether it's through appreciating nature, art, or encountering and loving another human being; attitudinal values, by the specific attitude we choose to take when facing unavoidable pain, grief, or suffering. That's what that's called. Attitudinal values. Okay. It's by the specific attitude we choose to take when facing unavoidable pain, grief, or suffering. Okay. The power of attitude in suffering. While we cannot always control our external circumstances or prevent suffering, we always maintain the ultimate freedom to choose our attitude and response. When confronted with a situation that cannot be changed, we are challenged to change ourselves and find significance in how we endure the hardship. This meaning making process transforms suffering into a source of personal growth, resilience, and dignity. Exploring purpose further. Understanding how to anchor oneself in meaning is a deeply personal journey, often requiring self reflection and a shift in perspective. Narrative reframing. Rather than viewing sudden disruptions or losses as irreversible setbacks, meaning making allows individuals to rewrite their personal narrative by focusing on what a hardship has taught them or what it is asking them to release. I'm going to say that again, okay? Okay, I'm just going to say it, okay. They shift focus from victimization to ongoing personal evolution. Okay, I'm going to say this again. Narrative reframing. It's important. Okay? Rather than viewing sudden disruptions or losses as irreversible setbacks, meaning making allows individuals to rewrite their personal narrative by focusing on what a hardship has taught them or what it is asking them to release. They shift focus from victimization to ongoing personal evolution. All right. So narrative reframing empowers individuals to transform sudden disruptions or losses by rewriting their personal stories. Rather than accepting irreversible setbacks, meaning making allows them to focus on lessons learned and what needs to be released. This shifts their focus from victimization to ongoing personal evolution, meaning you can keep moving, right? You don't sit there and wallow like a pig in the mud. You get up, all right, and you keep evolving, all right? So, core concepts of narrative reframing: externalization, separating the problem or trauma from a person's essential identity so they can view it as an event that happened to them rather than a defining trait. Meaning making, actively reappraising the situation to integrate it with your life's goals and global beliefs. This process creates narrative sovereignty, allowing you to be the active author of your internal story. Okay? So, post traumatic growth. Okay? Moving beyond mere survival to identify unexpected inner strengths, deeper empathy, and new purpose born from the adversity. Post traumatic growth, also called PTG, is the profound psychological transformation that can occur after a highly challenging or traumatic life event. It is not about simply getting over trauma or surviving it. Rather, it is the process of using adversity as a catalyst to develop a deep sense of purpose, empathy, and personal strength. PTG generally manifests in five key areas: greater personal strength. Survivors often realize they possess an inner resilience and capability they never knew they had, recognizing that they can handle significantly more adversity than they originally thought. Dropping the superficial. Okay, survivors often find they have less tolerance for shallow interactions or superficial relationships. Okay, they tend to gravitate toward genuine, authentic, and vulnerable connections. People that are open to being genuine and authentic. They drop off people that are superficial. No more shallow interactions or superficial relationships. That's it. You close the door on that. Okay, and if you haven't, you ought to. Okay? So, new possibilities. A major life crisis can upend old paths and open doors to entirely new, unexpected goals, careers, or life directions. We have to understand that sometimes God will do this to shake our life up, okay? Because there's a certain path we're supposed to be on. That this is God closing out the old, okay? Especially for the ones that have chosen God that created us, okay, for a path. All right? Things start shaking up, okay? But God is going to keep you strong and unmovable, okay? All right. So, new possibilities. I'm going to say it again. A major life crisis can upend old paths and open doors to entirely new, unexpected goals, careers, or life directions. Appreciation for life. The experience frequently ensures profound gratitude, allowing individuals to find joy and mindfulness in everyday previously overlooked moments. Meaning you're going to start cherishing life more. Okay? You're going to really wake up and be like, whoa, you might have been taking life for granted. Like, okay, like I'm gonna use an example. Like when you're real young and you're strong, vigility, you're real vibrant. Okay, you take that for granted because you start getting older and then you see it lessen a bit. Okay, just an example. Okay, so you wake up every day is a life is a blessing. Life is a gift from God. You start realizing and really understanding that God is not really playing with you. Okay, all right, spiritual or existential growth. Many individuals develop a deeper connection to their personal philosophies, spiritual beliefs, or core values, establishing a redefined sense of what matters most in life. It is important to note that PTG does not mean the original trauma was good or that pain disappears. It often coexists with the ongoing struggle and distress of the trauma itself. Furthermore, it differs from resilience. While resilience is simply bouncing back to your exact pre trauma state, post traumatic growth, PTG, represents a fundamental shift in worldview. Okay, this is how serious how PTG, okay, post traumatic growth, okay, you shift in your worldview for real. Like your whole foundation has gotten shaken. Like you really opening up, you can see. Okay, meaning, and personality. Post traumatic growth, PTG, represents a fundamental shift in worldview, meaning, and personality. Okay, common applications. Individuals and therapists use this concept to process various forms of hardship. Okay, it can happen with grief and loss. Reframing stories so that grief does not consume every aspect of the narrative. Okay, and honoring a loved one's memory by carrying their legacy forward. Trauma recovery, helping survivors of complex trauma organize fragmented memories and find a greater sense of coherence and agency. Life transitions. Okay, a lot of us are going to be in that life transitions one. Okay, adjusting to unexpected job losses, health diagnosis, or relationship changes by framing the disruption as a period of redirection or development. Okay, all of them are P post traumatic growth, okay, are used for that, okay? Contribution and connection. True security often stems from focusing outward, translating life challenges into opportunities for growth and contribution, okay? Helping others, pursuing meaningful work gives people a sense of value that external circumstances, such as job loss or financial crisis, cannot easily dismantle. Okay, so it gives you some type of purpose so you can keep moving forward, okay, in strength and power, trusting in God that created us, right? This approach transforms security from something you desperately guard against the outside world into a resilient internal foundation you actively build. The shift in perspective. Traditional approaches to security often focus on control, trying to micromanage your environment, finances, or other people to prevent negative outcomes. The whole person framework suggests that because you cannot control the unpredictability of life, true resilience comes from your internal and relational resources. Okay, key meanings: strength for the journey. When we fail or hit a limit in our human strength, God empowers us to stand back up, learn from our mistakes, and keep moving forward, okay? Imparts divine fortitude and perseverance. It means that when you feel weak, weary, or overwhelmed, God supplies the energy and endurance to keep moving forward, right? Okay. The blessing of peace. In the Bible, this is known as shalom. It is far more than an absence of trouble. It is an unshakable calm and assurance that you are not facing life alone. Derives from the Hebrew word shalom. It is not just the absence of trouble, but a deep, comforting sense of wholeness and well being. It acts as a calm during life's storms. This verse is a powerful reminder that God that created us provides both the resilience to endure hardships and the inner tranquility to remain steady through life's challenges. Together, this verse from Psalm chapter 29, verse 11, promises that God that created us does not leave you to struggle alone. God equips you for the journey and settles your heart. To err is human, means our fallibility is hardwired into our nature. Making mistakes proves we are alive and thinking. It signifies that we navigate complex situations, take risks, and learn. Embracing this truth encourages forgiveness, growth, and resilience. This phrase means that honestly accepting a difficult reality or past mistake frees you from denial instead of harboring resentment or guilt, okay? Or denial, like they're saying here, okay? You grant grace, learn valuable lessons, and build the inner strength needed to bounce back from adversity. The quote breaks down into three empowering pillars: forgiveness, releasing anger, grudges, or self blame by accepting that the past cannot be changed. It is about giving yourself and others grace, growth, using hard truths and failures as stepping stones to gain wisdom rather than letting them keep you stagnant. Okay, resilience, developing the mental toughness to endure future hardships, bounce back from setbacks, and move forward with purpose. Okay, so key aspects of human fallibility. Learning tool, okay? Mistakes provide feedback, turning past errors into future wisdom. Connection, acknowledging our imperfections, builds empathy and genuine relationships. Courage, trying new things inevitably leads to occasional failure. Chasing perfection limits growth. All right. So now we're going to get into the inspirational testimonial, okay? And it's called Prisoners of Hope, huh? And I'm going to read the scripture here, okay? It's coming out of Zechariah chapter 9, verse 12. Return to the stronghold of security and prosperity, you prisoners of hope. Even today, do I declare that I will restore double your former prosperity to you. Okay? All right, let's define the scripture here. Well, after I read the inspirational. Okay? Prisoners of hope. Today's verse is not the only scripture that says God will give us double for our trouble, but this passage shows us that there is a part we play in this too. God wants us to be prisoners of hope so that God can bless us. We have to keep an attitude that allows God to work in our lives. God doesn't work through negative attitudes. God doesn't work through entitled or passive or self-pitying attitudes. God can only work where there is faith. And before you have faith, you have to have hope. Hope is a positive attitude that has nothing to do with your circumstances. It is an expectant outlook that something good is going to happen in your life. Being a prisoner of hope means being so locked up in hope that you believe without a doubt that something good is going to happen in your life. Believe that God can change whatever needs to be changed. That with God help, that with God's help, you can do whatever you need to do, and that there is no situation too big for God to handle. Okay? If you will keep a determined, steadfast attitude filled with hope, it will be impossible for you not to be a winner in life. Okay? If you will keep a determined, steadfast attitude filled with hope, it will be impossible for you not to be a winner in life. God has a double blessing in store for you, prisoner of hope. All right. Prayer for today. God that created us, I refuse to give up hope. Help me keep trusting while I wait for things to change. I know that you have a plan, a double blessing, and I'm going to keep believing until I receive it. So be it. All right. All right. Now we're going to define the scripture. Okay. This powerful passage comes from the book of Zechariah, chapter 9, verse 12, offering a message of divine restoration and unwavering faith. The stronghold, this refers to God, God's self, or a place of divine safety and protection. It is an invitation to take refuge in God's presence rather than relying on your own strength or worldly circumstances. Prisoners of hope. This describes someone who is bound or held captive by confident expectation, even when going through severe adversity. It means you are so deeply committed to trusting God's promises that fear or doubt cannot take you away. Restore double. This is a promise of overflowing abundance and compensation. It means that whatever you have lost, suffered, or sacrificed will be replaced by God with twice the amount of abundance, blessings, joy, favor, and prosperity that far exceeds your original loss. Gives peace and strength. The stronghold or fortress mentioned in Zechariah refers to God's self. Returning to God provides a safe refuge where you receive the inner strength and a profound peace that surpasses understanding to endure hardships and move forward. The ultimate message is an invitation to anchor your soul to God's promises, trusting that God that created us will turn your trials into triumphs and bless you far beyond what you originally had. All right. Okay. So now life lesson here. This is the title. Um, God restores double abundance, gives peace, strength, and blesses the prisoners of hope. Okay? And I'm going to clarify and define this title from a positive, biblical, spiritual, happiness, blessed, and disciplined perspective with God. Because we got to understand we have to be in a disciplined, obedient demeanor, energy, in order for God to protect and help us with forward movement. Okay? All right. So God promises to set captives free from despair, filling them with confident expectation by calling them prisoners of war. In Zechariah chapter 9, verse 12, God invites believers to permanently tethered to God's promises. God abundantly restores double the joy and peace for every past trouble, replacing shame with divine strength and deep fulfillment. Exploring this biblical promise reveals how God transforms our lives, perspectives, and hearts. All right, the biblical meaning of prisoners of hope. The metaphor. In the Bible, a prisoner is someone unable to escape their chains. When you are a prisoner of hope, you are so securely locked into God's promises that discouragement or doubt cannot break you out. The call. When you are a prisoner of hope, you are so securely locked into God's promises that discouragement or doubt cannot break you out. Okay. The call, Zechariah chapter 9, verse 12. Return to your fortress, you prisoners of hope. Even now I announce that I will restore twice as much to you. It is an invitation to run into God's protection, to run into God's protection. Okay? And confidently expect God's goodness. With confidence, expect God's goodness. Okay? Scriptural anchors. Passages like Isaiah chapter 61, verse 7, and Joel chapter 2, verse 25 highlight that God specializes in making your latter days greater than your former, turning ashes into beauty. Perspectives on abundance, peace, and strength, restoration of double. The double portion refers to a complete compensation for all suffering. It is God's overflowing abundance that turns trials into powerful testimonies. Peace and strength. Psalm chapter 29, verse 11 states that God gives strength to God's people, okay, and blesses them with peace. This peace transcends worldly understanding and provides a sanctuary of rest in the midst of any room. One moment. This peace transcends worldly understanding and provides a sanctuary of rest in the midst of any storm. Spiritual discipline. True peace and happiness are cultivated by keeping your focus on God rather than your circumstances, disciplining your mind to praise and trust. Hebrews chapter 6, verse 18 through 19 acts as an anchor for the soul. God's meaning, a blessed life, divine recompense. God does not just return what was lost, God compensates with spiritual and physical abundance. Transform perspective. Instead of being a prisoner of your past mistakes or difficult circumstances, you become an agent of hope, joy, and positive change. All right, now we're going to go into the positive affirmations. Okay, the first one's success. I have what it takes to succeed. Saying I have what it takes to succeed means you possess the necessary skills, mindset, and determination to achieve your goals. It is a confident self assessment indicating you are ready to put in the effort and resilience required to win. Core components of having what it takes. To fully understand this phrase, it helps to look at the primary traits associated with it. Resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks and keep going when things get tough. Willingness to learn, recognizing that you may not know everything yet, but you have the capacity to adapt, learn new skills, and grow. Strong work ethic, the drive and discipline to put in the necessary hours and hard work. Self belief, and internal confidence in your own abilities and potential to overcome obstacles. A subjective journey. It is also widely understood that success is entirely subjective. Whether you define success by tangible milestones like a promotion or a degree, or by personal well being like happiness and peace of mind, having what it takes means you are equipped to reach the specific goals that matter to you. Okay, the next positive affirmation is coming out of wealth. I am energized by challenges in my business. Okay, being energized by challenges means you thrive on solving problems, pushing past obstacles, and continuously learning. Instead of seeing difficulties as setbacks, your growth mindset fuels motivation, creativity, and resilience whenever a tough situation arises. Key characteristics: problem solving, drive. You view unexpected roadblocks as a puzzle to solve rather than a reason to quit. There is no quit, right? You don't quit to the coffin, y'all. Huh? Okay? Continuous growth. You actively seek out new skills and adapt quickly when the market or your operations change. Resilience. You maintain momentum through failure, turning mistakes into valuable lessons rather than sources of discouragement. How to leverage this mindset. Set strategic goals. Push your boundaries by setting objectives that require new skills and not opt new skills and out of the box thinking. Okay, so how to leverage this mindset: set strategic goals, push your boundaries by setting objectives that require new skills and out of the box thinking. Okay, you got to think out of the box. Okay, the next positive affirmation is dealing with money. I am open to receive money in my life. Being open to receive money is a mindset of removing psychological and practical blocks to abundance. It means cultivating a positive relationship with finances so that you can easily accept new income streams, business opportunities, or wealth without guilt or self sabotage. This philosophy generally involves three core shifts: releasing limiting beliefs, moving away from thoughts like I'm bad with money or wealth is hard to get, and adopting an abundant, growth oriented mindset. Valuing your own worth, believing that your time, skills, and energy deserve fair and generous compensation. Being practically prepared, having active systems in place, such as organized bank accounts, clear invoicing methods, and investment strategies, so that when opportunities arise, you are ready to accept and manage them. Positive thinking. My business is growing, expanding, and thriving. Okay. Having your business grow, expand, and thrive means you are in the ultimate sweet spot of entrepreneurship. It indicates that your revenue is increasing, your operations and market reach are widening, and your company is generating consistent profits while remaining healthy and sustainable. A breakdown of these terms clarifies their exact impact on a business. Growing, increasing key metrics like revenue, sales, volume, and customer base. You are getting larger and seeing a steady increase in daily activity. Expanding, scaling your footprint. This means entering new markets, adding new product lines, opening new physical locations, or scaling up your team to meet higher demand. Thriving, operating sustainable and profitability. Unlike unchecked growth, thriving means your profits, employee morale, and customer retention are flourishing without leading to operational burnout or financial instability. That is an incredibly exciting phase to be in. All right, the next positive affirmation is abundance. Abundance flows to me in avalanches. The phrase abundance flows to me in avalanches is a manifestation and prosperity affirmation. It means that wealth, opportunities, and good fortune are coming into your life rapidly, continuously, and on a massive, overwhelming scale, much like a powerful avalanche gathers momentum and volume as it moves. Here is a breakdown of the core themes behind this concept. Shift from scarcity to limitless receiving. Instead of viewing money as or success as a limited resource you have to struggle to earn, this phrasing trains your brain to expect limitless supply. An avalanche implies that your desires will be met in volumes far greater than your immediate needs. The power of avalanche. While a steady trickle suggests slow, hard earned progress, an avalanche symbolizes acceleration and ease. It is about reaching a tipping point where manifestation happens effortlessly without you having to micromanage how the results are produced. Roots in mindset work. This mantra is moving you out of a state of lack into a frequency of gratitude and radical openness to receive. God's wealth circulates in my life. It flows to me in avalanches of abundance. All right, next positive affirmation is dealing with happiness. I don't do things in my life to make others happy. I do things that make me happy. All right? That statement is a powerful declaration of autonomy, self worth, and healthy boundaries. It means you refuse to please or build your life around meeting others' expectations at the expense of your own mental health and well being. Living by this philosophy comes with several distinct meanings and applications. Radical self responsibility. It acknowledges that It acknowledges that you are the only person truly responsible for your own emotional state. Prioritizing your needs allows you to operate from a place of genuine fulfillment rather than resentment. Setting boundaries. It is a commitment to protecting your energy. You stop letting others dictate your choices, schedules, or values just to keep the peace or seek external validation. Authenticity. It means pursuing hobbies, relationships, and career paths that align with your true self, not what society or peers expect of you. The healthy nuance. It doesn't mean you act with malice or actively harm others. Rather, it means you stop setting yourself up on fire to keep others warm. It means you stop setting yourself on fire to keep others warm. You prioritize your own joy so you can show up stronger for the people and things you actually care about. Taking action. That's the next positive affirmation. I have all it takes to make my dreams a reality. Saying I have all it takes to make my dreams a reality means you possess the necessary ambition, resilience, and skills. It is a statement of self belief, acknowledging that while success requires hard work and a clear plan, you have the inner power and resources to achieve your goals. Understanding this phrase involves looking at a few core elements. Self belief. It highlights confidence in your personal abilities and potential to overcome obstacles. Action oriented mindset. It implies a shift from passive wishing to active execution, meaning you are ready to take practical steps forward. Resilience. It serves as an acknowledgement that while there will be challenges, you have the determination to push through setbacks and keep moving toward your vision. All right, y'all. This is the completion of this life lesson. I truly hope it helps someone to allow God that created us in your life daily to help you move forward to build a true and happy life. Please donate to the channel, sow into me as I sow into you. We are choosing to build a life of true happiness with God that created us. Thank you for donating. If you would like to donate to the channel, the contact information is available in the details or description below. And remember, during your pursuits of happiness, don't let anyone tell you you can't have a beautiful life. Protect what makes you happy and continue creating your reality. Don't allow the unambitious people or the people that are controlling to stop you from building your beautiful life. I just want to say thank you for the like, subscribe, comment, and sharing this life lesson. And until next time, take care. Keep building that life of true happiness with God that created us.